Good morning, everyone. It's the 22nd of April and it's Saturday. So I hope you're going to have a good weekend. It's all getting very exciting. I don't know how you're coping with the new 2-hourly update. I'm not. I'm having to check every couple of hours now. So no doubt there is a lot of other people doing the same. And if you didn't know, the three leaders are on 2-hourly tracking now, so you can keep up with the incremental changes which are happening all the time. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, it's the weekend, so I'm going to waffle on a bit, and you're going to get a sneak peek. Off to a good start. Sorry about yesterday. That was a bit of a nightmare, and we'll try and keep everything running smoothly today. But before I did that, a lot of people have asked about it's the weekend. So before you get to the tracker and talk about the excitement of Kirsten going crazy, she's still on fire. And I will go through the comments just at the end of this to answer any specific questions on the tracker and what's happening. I'm going to show you the first ever screening of the trailer for the 2018 GGR movie. Okay, now you'll be able to subscribe to that from the GGR website early June, and you'll see it pop up on the GGR website in the next day or two, just to alert you to the fact. Only goes for 2 minutes, so don't despair if you can't hold off to find out what Abolish is doing and what Kirsten's doing. And Jane just gave me a message about a problem with Abolish, which I'll explain in a minute. But first of all, I'll try and get this 2-minute video clip up of the trailer. Here we go. I just got to turn it on here. Here we go.
There's only about 220 people who've done it. And if you want to take on the toughest challenge there is, that's it.
The Sunday Times Golden Globe will be awarded to the first non-stop circumnavigator of the world.
I can remember someone coming up to me and saying, "You, this Johnny who thinks he can sail solo non-stop around the world." And I said, "We're going to try it."
It was the first ever round the world yacht race.
You know, out of the 9 entries, only 1 finished.
But to rerun it under the same conditions makes it very, very interesting. So you're really going back in time.
It's not something you do with your mind at this point. You do with your heart and you just try with yourself.
This is the longest sport event in sport history.
If anyone ever says this is ridiculous, he's being reckless, I'd just say, sorry, he's not. He's being a real seaman.
There'll be people that will say, oh, the boats aren't safe. Do you have to spend $1 million to buy a 60-footer that does all this fancy stuff? Does the little guy not go? There's no way.
The race has held that appeal because these grand authors made it sound really attainable.
We're putting in half of everything we own in this race, and it'd be nice to have something left at the end.
Miss! Just look at the devastation. Single-handed sailors don't obey rules, so it's a recipe for disaster.
Don't come in.
I can't make a jury, Rick. The only thing that's left is a hole.
I was just praying somebody would get there before I would.
I never thought I was going to see him again.
We started with 18 and we're now down to 7.
So you're still having fun then?
Not to come here, it's very difficult.
We don't need millions, to do sailboat racing. We don't need all that modern technology to fulfill a dream.
I'm going to be comfortable, but I'm going to do it.
He hasn't given up, that's the bottom line.
Okay, so you're the first people to see that, and we're looking forward to making it available to everyone via subscription. We've got an agent who's trying to sell it around the world mainstream, and if we sell it to America or whatever it is, then the subscriptions will be blocked because they'll take on the that sort of zone of responsibility. But for the moment, we haven't sold it to anyone, so we're getting it up as a subscription. It'll be on Amazon and Apple iTunes, all that sort of stuff, as well. But you'll be able to go straight to the GGR website and hire it or buy it, as you do with normal subscriptions. So look forward to that. Anyway, back to the main game, and I see people commenting already. Have I thought about putting a computer beside me? Usually Jane is watching it, but yesterday she had to go to the loo, and as that happened, I was in space because I'm getting affected by a hay fever now, things like that. And so I completely muffed it, but that shouldn't necessarily happen again. We try to be as professional as we can, but we're a bunch of rank amateurs really having a bit of fun because we love doing this stuff. Anyway, carrying on. So now I'm going to go straight to the tracker and let's see what's happening here. The amazing thing is I'm looking forward to talking to Kirsten shortly or soon on a tracker next week or whatever. Follow the tweets. She's just flying. Someone suggested maybe she dumped the water out of the boat or made it lighter or whatever. But in terms of performance, she's really going for it. And the leaderboard's reflecting that. Currently, she's got 708 nautical miles to go. And Abelish has got 783. So you can see she's knocked out nearly 80 miles on the leaderboard with Abelish, and certainly taking in a commanding position for the track into the Bay of Biscay. Anyway, then we've got Captain Goog is on 2,294. He'll be under 2,000 miles soon. Not going fast, but we'll get onto that when we're looking at the tracker. And then in Chichester class, Simon has got 642 nautical miles to go. And Jeremy's still another 3,000. So you got a bit of a way, but they're all slowly but surely getting there, and we're looking forward to seeing them. So let's just have a look here at Jeremy and see what's going on. Okay, so wow, what happened to the doldrums? They disappeared. So this is good for him. And doing 5.5 knots at the moment, did a 77 nautical mile day, which is not too bad for the doldrums. And he's in a bit of luck because there is none here. And will it hold? So I'll bounce this through on the hour of what's going on. And he's still got breeze right through the midnight. He's got a little bit of breeze. And that's all pretty reasonable. He'll keep moving anyway. It's getting a little bit worse than what he's got right now, but it's still a great breeze. So that's the second day coming up here. Yep, he'll keep sailing. He's probably only going to do 3 knots, but that's pretty good to get through it. And by the time he gets to the 24th, he should be into this zone here, okay, which is the northeasterlies. So very lucky, straight through. So he'll be happy with that. Temperatures will be getting up, but now it'll start to go cool. He will have been used to it by now. But yeah, that's red hot. So Kirsten's red hot, and so is Jeremy. Both are South Africans. That's pretty cool. So, well, it's not cool. It's hot. Okay, so that's Jeremy's situation. I'm going to shut the door here because Ada's chickens are laying eggs. We're looking after Ada's chickens at the moment. Long story. Okay, so... and here's Captain Goog. He's into the zone just about. He's there. Yep, he's underway. 3.6 knots. That's pretty cool. 60 nautical mile days because he was caught in this light stuff, but now it looks like he's reached this new weather system, which means he's officially out of the. He's officially out of the northeasterly trades. I didn't look to see if Jeremy had got across the equator. Yes, he has. So he's on the other side now. That's kind of cool. Well done, Jeremy. And Captain Goog back here, he's got to be smiling, got to be relaxed. His boat's still in good condition. He's doing sorry, come back to the weather. Okay, he hasn't reached there. I forgot to shift it back. This is for those that don't know, this slide's the forecasting weather at the top of the top of the tracker, and often I will actually forget to bring it back to real-time weather now. So he's still not out of it yet, 3.6, but it's still a breeze there. He's doing okay. And if we now bounce this through, slowly but surely, the breeze is coming to him. You can see this system, the green line here, slowly, the edge is slowly running down towards him. So that's good. That'll save him a bit. This is later on today. There's sort of midnight. It's hovering. It's cycling, oscillating back and forwards, but generally it's going towards him. So in the next 24 hours, he's got it. And it was getting closer to him. So he's, just got another slow day today, but by the time he gets into tomorrow, it's all over for, unless it disappears behind him. So he's going to be here. Yeah, he's going to hold that breeze. So there's day 2. So 48 hours from now, he'll be 150 miles ahead, maybe, or 130 miles ahead with 2 slow days. Let's see. 130. Yeah, he'll be in it. So he's got 2 reasonable days coming up and a lot to look forward to get into this lot. So, yeah, it's steady progress for Goog. You'll see that's coming in there, and that'll keep him going for, get rid of that. That'll keep him going for the next few days. I'll just scroll this forward to give you a long range for Goog. We're into the 25th. Yep, he'll be riding this green highway here. He should be just hanging into the breeze there and keep it going. So, and then, yeah, he might get a bit quiet, but the next few days are fine. Next few days, that's the 26th. So it's 4 days ahead. He's going to keep moving. So he'll stay in touch. And I got to say, he's probably losing ground, but not because he's going too slow. It's just that Kirsten's flying. We measured him off. It was 1,200. Now it's 1,500. So he's lost a bit, part of the slingshot effect as well, but doing okay. All right, so now the main game. So all kind of interesting. So we just got news that Ablish had another problem. He just did a tweet and it said, stitched another rip in the main. Now, you may remember that it was some time ago. How far was it? I can't remember. It was weeks ago. Could have even been a month ago. I'm not sure. He ripped his main all the way across, okay, from luff to leech, which is the leading edge of the sail. If you're a non-sailor, the front edge of the sail to the back edge, probably about 4 meters across. Had a whole huge rip. He fixed it, and now he altered course last night very dramatically, which I'll show you in a sec. And it just the tweet just said it stitched another rip in the main. As usual, hope this is the last. Yesterday, he broke a running backstay. And when he broke the running backstay is wires coming from the mast down to the back of the boat to help hold the mast up, particularly when you're running under your staysail or in heavy weather. And you may remember that looking at the weather, Ablish was skirting along the bottom of it, which wasn't extreme weather, but he just knew it was heavier weather above that because he's worried about the boat breaking, quite honestly. The boat, he said it, not just me, but he's got lots of little problems with the boat all the time. And so he doesn't want to stress the boat. And now to get another rip in the main, it's just an ongoing process. So so that's his biggest challenge for sure, and his real risk. So you've got to assume all this stuff that we talk about with ETAs and speed and this, that, and the other, that's assuming there's no boat problems. Now, Kirsten's only thing was the bowsprit, the droopy bowsprit fitting at the very end, but it seems to have settled and stabilised, and she didn't know it was the same as that in Les Sables d'Olonne. So, from our perspective, we don't think it's going to be a problem, touch wood, but all very important. So what's happening here to the 3 front runners? Okay, so Kirsten, 7.6 knots, 168 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. I hope you all saw the press release last night. If you look at the statistics from GGR Underground, it's very interesting. Kirsten's, way up there. He's got all the records. Boom, 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 boom. Her boat is fast, and I think now it's showing that as long as it's not light following winds, the Ablish's Russell 36 is not able to keep up because she's got waterline length. It's an amazing boat, and so anything behind that's medium to heavy, that's where her boat speed comes from, and that's why she's been able to keep up a little bit and take some time out of Simon as well. So yes, she's on fire. She's got exactly what she wants now. She's getting this pocket of breeze that Ablish is just coming out of. He's got stronger breeze up here, and that's it. Anyway, you can see he made a dramatic change last night with the course across here, and that may have been when the main ripped. He would have not had a panic attack, but as soon as he saw it, he thought, save it. I don't know where the main tear is, but he's fixed it, and that would have slowed him down a little bit, but he's now back to 6.6 knots, which is pretty good, and making 136 nautical miles in the day. The only problem with that course is he's sailing away from Les Sables d'Olonne. It's not a long way away from Les Sables d'Olonne, but he's certainly not optimizing the direction. So here it is over here. So that's the angle of the course, and he's a little bit off it. You can see he's heading over here to Vigo in Spain. And, Kirsten and Simon are heading straight up into the Bay of Biscay. So he's losing a little bit of VMG or vector made good towards the finish line. And that's playing into the hands of Kirsten here right at the moment, which is pretty cool. So Simon is doing 5.9 knots and did 146 nautical miles in the day. So he's still hooting along. And now all three of them, like this is really good for Abolish and Kirsten. They're entering this very soon. You'll see they enter the same sort of weather pattern. So I just start scrolling this through now. And so the heavier breezes are disappearing from Kirsten, and Abolish has got a similar situation. He's back into normal stuff as we push through. He's got a soft patch coming up behind, but I would say I'll come through to the first 24 hours and we can get an idea of what's happening here. But it looks like now on this one, if we blow this up, this is about 18 hours ahead. So that's 60 and 30, 90, 100 miles. So Abolish will have done about 100 miles by the time we're into this weather pattern, if that makes sense. So Abolish, if he holds that course, and I think he'll come over a bit, 100 miles is about somewhere along here. Okay, so I think whilst it's coming up behind him, it looks like he'll just hang on to this breeze as long as this forecast is correct, and often it's not. So he's running a risk that Kirsten doesn't have at that point of time of slowing down, but I think he'll probably hold into it and keep moving with Kirsten. So that's pretty cool. So we push that through again, and now we're 24 hours ahead. So 24 hours is going to be about 140 miles. If he keeps that breeze all the way through, his position relative to this suggested weather on the screen is going to be around about here again. Okay, so because I think I don't think he'll keep heading that way. He's going to come up a little bit for sure. So he'll be around about there. Okay, so imagine that. There's Abolish at that point, and Kirsten will be about 150 miles ahead, I reckon. She'll be going a little bit faster, still on the same course. So now Kirsten is going to be up around here. So Abolish is here somewhere. Kirsten is there. If you take that back to the desired finish line over here, you can see Kirsten's here, Abolish is over there. Kirsten on the course is going to be maybe even more, maybe 100 miles ahead of Abolish in the next 24 hours, something like that. So that's starting to create a defining moment, you might say, even before they get to Bay of Biscay. Once again, still plenty of variables. Anything can happen, but it's looking like in the next 24 hours, Kirsten might have, because of her boat speed and the course she's holding, and where Abolish went out wide, and a little problem with his mainsail, he could lose out another 20 odd miles or so on the leaderboard, and in the same sort of scenario on the course itself. So if we keep now pushing that through. We'll go through to the next 24 hours. Now, at that point, if Kirsten's up here somewhere, she's going to have lighter winds, whereas the breeze is filling in from behind. So Abolish may pick up some speed, okay, and start to close in on Kirsten. The amazing thing is that they'll be getting closer and closer beside each other, which is really cool. It's going to make it very exciting by the time we get to Biscay. Anyway, we'll pull that through. Overall, then Kirsten will pick up speed again because this breeze is filling in behind that'll hit Abolish first will start to affect both of them, and they'll both be in identical weather. But I think Abolish will be a little bit behind Kirsten. So this is now coming up to 48 hours ahead. So there we are, near enough to 48 hours ahead. And if we scale this back, so 48 hours for Kirsten is going to be 300 miles. Okay, so they will definitely be, they'll be just in the edge of this breeze line, I think. Yeah, there's 325. So 48 hours from now, if the forecast and graphic is correct, Kirsten will be about here somewhere, okay, just coming up to this little colour spot there. And she would have made that not quite that far, but the main thing I want to show is that they're still in the breeze. Simon might be running out of it a little bit if he keeps going ahead. He'll be up here. And then Abolish, he'll be less than 300 miles ahead at that stage, but because he won't able to course straight away. Abolish, but let's just say he's 280 or something, or say he's about 280. That's where Abelish could be in 48 hours. He'll be around about here somewhere, and Kirsten will be around about here somewhere. So if you said that, as they get approaching the entry to Biscay, well, ironically, you can see the graphic is suggesting something similar to what the actual leaderboard is going to say. That'll put Kirsten up to about 100 miles in front of Abelish at that point, which is really a commanding lead going into Bay of Biscay. But this is your danger point. This is where everything can change overnight. And that's reasonably a fair enough and what I'd call an acceptable assessment or judgment on the fact that this weather forecasting here looks really strong and consistent with the big picture. It's not as if it's slightly variable. That's going to hold in. So I think you'll see, in 2 days, Abelish is going to be absolutely behind Kirsten. So next point, going forward to the third day, which is as far as I like to consider these weather forecasts. And at the same time, it's going into Biscay. You just throw everything out the window when you've got to start talking about Biscay, because anything can happen. It's very difficult to forecast. But you can see here straight away, the breeze seems to be okay. If they ended up in this zone here, they're going to start to do one of two things: either head straight for Les Sables d'Olonne, or if Kirsten is getting weather faxes and if she's getting forecasts, and I'll just focus on Kirsten at the moment because I'm not sure of Abelish's radio, but he could be getting the same forecast. If they're getting local weather forecasts around here, they may work out that there's this activity at the top, and there's a defining line. And when it says there's 15 to 20 knots going around Finisterre and along in front of Gijón in Spain here, they could decide to come and hold the coast, okay, or they could go straight ahead. And you can see the difference if they're not getting the weather. And I'm confident Kirsten will absolutely be getting the weather. Not sure about Simon, but I think he will, because he'll be close enough then to get something. And hopefully Abelish is getting the same sort of weather, but Kirsten's got the facts. And if she's getting weather faxes, then that's pretty cool. So we're coming up to the end of day 3, and the breeze is still reaching into Biscay, which means they'll be following that. So that's near enough to 3 days. Now, 3 days, Kirsten will absolutely, I feel confident that she'll be about 420 to 450 miles ahead of where she is now. I'm using her just as the benchmark to see if they're holding the breeze. Yeah, well, there's 430. Okay, so let's say she made 430 miles. She's still in this breeze gradient, which is unbelievable, and that's bringing them into the Biscay. Okay, so that looks pretty cool. So whatever they do on a course, whatever they decide on a course, it really looks as like it's going to drag them in, and they're going to get a kickstart into Biscay. Abelish will be the same. If he is slightly behind Kirsten, he'll be sitting in here somewhere, and he's still got a breeze as well. So anything you can do to get into Biscay that's following on from ocean weather out here rather than localized weather is a bonus, and you couldn't really ask for any better. That's really quite a big kick. So that's where I'm going to stop positioning the boats now, because it gets too hard, because everything's and what we'll do is, I don't think I can build it up. If I build it up bigger, you won't see the boats, but the boats are back here by now anyway. I'm going to build it up a little bit bigger. Okay, so just imagine now the boats are up here somewhere, and we can look at what the projection is for Biscay, which is, as I say, highly unreliable now. But that's the 25th. So it's 3 days ahead. Now you can see it's starting to fade. It did start to follow, so the breeze is going, but they're going to slow down. One thing I didn't do was work out, I didn't show you, and I didn't do the graphic on how far away at that point are they from Les Sables d'Olonne. And they were getting into a position about here somewhere. So it's only about 300 miles. So they're going to ride that weather to about 300 miles before the finish. That could be 2 days, and that was on the 25th. So that means you could say they're going to arrive on the 27th. And we've been saying all the time, I've been saying earliest you're going to see them is the 28th. And I'm still holding to that, because you watch what happens now. They don't get a solid run straight into Les Sables d'Olonne. But that's, as I say, they'll be 300 miles from Les Sables d'Olonne at the end of the 25th. Okay, so this is the end of the day, second, third, fourth, 5, yeah. It's gone soft, okay? And then you've got this patch coming over, but it's moving very fast. It's just a few hours. So this is now 4 days ahead, but that would have been a slow day. So the fourth day is a slow day. They're probably only going to make 60, 70 miles, but they only had 300 miles to go. So that now they're back to 200 miles. So that's the 26th. So it's pretty clear to me they're not going to make it in by the 27th. Even Simon, he's not going to make the 27th because you can see what's happening here. It's very light and fluky, impossible to predict where the wind's coming from or the wind direction, things like that. So they've slowed down substantially. And now, coming through, this is on the 26th, late in the afternoon, big hole there, winds all over the place, very slow progress the last couple of 100 miles. So there goes the 26th. But then the breeze comes in. So by the 27th, it looks as if they might be 150 miles away, something like that. This is early on the 27th. So it's suggesting, Simon might get in very early on the 28th. Okay. That's my first impression there, because it's another, but see that breeze is just, you see, it's only 1 hour apart. And so every one of these clicks and changes you're watching, you see how dramatic it is. It's impossible to predict, but it looks slow. Generally, it looks slow. Okay, so I'm still saying the 28th is when the first will arrive. And in fact, there's and that's about as much as I can show you on the screen there now. So there's a few things to consider here. Starting today, you will see a new post that comes up on GGR Facebook. Sorry, YouTubers. We'll probably we will put this up on the website as well, so you can go to the website, and it's our official daily GGR ETA and predictions. So I'm going to put in there when I think each of the boats will arrive. So I'll give you an idea of. At the moment, I'm predicting that Kirsten will arrive first by probably maybe 12 hours or so. I think Abolish will be about 12 hours behind her, and I think that Kirsten will arrive probably on the morning of, very early on the morning of the 29th. Okay. And so I think Abolish will be at least 12 hours behind it. That's not that's my honest opinion. I will also put in there the percentage of accuracy. Okay. That's the easiest way to put it, not odds for betting, but the percentage of accuracy. How accurate is that prediction? This morning, when I looked at it all very closely, I would say it's probably about 70% accuracy. Okay, so you'll see this every day. Simon, I'm pegging him for Chichester class to end up at the Vendée Marina sometime very early on maybe very early on the 28th. There's a few variables there because you could park. It's very clear that someone could be 30 miles away and just park and sit there for 12 hours. So it's really very difficult to predict. So, but you'll see that come up. Jane's doing the graphics of it today. We'll post it up. I'll make a prediction every day. So you don't have to worry about that. And then we go from there. The other thing is many people are asking, I get a lot of emails. Can they watch it live? Where are they going to watch the coverage? It will be on GGR, Facebook Live and YouTube simultaneously. Ada and I will be doing the commentary, and we'll be assisted by Jean-Luc VDH, the winner of the 2018 GGR. He'll be with us, and also Yannick Moreau, the Lord Mayor of Les Sables d'Olonne, a great supporter of the whole of the GGR, including all the community of Les Sables d'Olonne. He should be with us as well. So it'll be a fun commentary and exciting times for sure. So we'll look forward to all of that. Now, I think I've covered off on most of the things. I'm going to quickly go through here, see if there's any comments on the questions. Rooting for Kirsten, so exciting. Morning from Donegal, Trish. Which is back in okay, no question. Why would someone choose not to get a Weatherfax? It's a very good point, but in Abolish's case, it could have been a couple of reasons. One is that because Abolish was one of the few that didn't fit a Weatherfax, was that he was really pushed for time. He was one of the last entrants into the GGR, didn't get his sponsorship until the end, and managed to buy a boat. Was pretty well prepared, but he still had to do a lot of work. And then, just didn't get around to it. Maybe it was budget as well. Who knows what? But he made a conscious decision not to fit a Weatherfax. And okay, going through. What is their difference of time compensation for helping Tapio? It's 23 hours. So if Abelish arrived 23 hours and 1 minute ahead of Kirsten, he would beat Kirsten on the course. But then there's also fuel compensation coming up, or they've got to work out the fuel negative. So if Kirsten used a heap of fuel, then every litre of fuel, she would get a penalty of 2 hours on the course, and Abelish should be the same. So that'll adjust the provisional finishing time when they cross the finish line versus the official finishing time. So it's not only the time compensation of the rescue to Tapio, it's also how much fuel every entrant has used at the end. So there's a few little things there. Talk about neck and neck. Absolutely, it's quite amazing. And I've got to say, I'm predicting that Abelish is behind, but it's never over till the fat lady sings. Because in the Biscay, I didn't mention there's winners and losers there. Kirsten could park in a hole, and quite literally, Abelish could come roaring around, 50 miles away, and just sail straight past her and pick up 100 miles. Boom! You just don't know. The Biscay is very difficult to predict, and I would suggest the reliability of the windy forecasting into Biscay at the moment, because it's still 4 or 5 days away, is probably about 60% reliable. All right, I wouldn't give it any more than 60% reliability for the weather in Biscay. It's particularly hard, and there is strange currents, and there's other hazards, shipping and fishing boats and all sorts. So it's very demanding on the entrance as well, and the risks are increased. Okay, I'm not seeing any. Ada, your chickens are laying eggs, Ada. Lovely clip, the 2018. Yeah, that's actually the trailer for the movie, remember? And it's had rave reviews. So I think a lot of people will be looking forward to seeing that. I was wondering this morning why we can still follow on the tracker Arnaud Gase, but we cannot follow Guy Waits anymore. Is Guy Arnaud come back up on the tracker? I'll have to have a look. Huh? Okay, that's fine. James just giving me an update there. So, okay. Good morning, Don. Love the sound of okay. Now, Bonnie finished. I'm not seeing any questions, so that's cool. Good morning, Plymouth. Can't wait to see the movie. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get it out to people. It's been a long road. Jesse's done an amazing job, and we're just busting to get it out there. Yeah, it'll be cool. Thought of putting a second laptop. Jane is always monitoring. I just mentioned that, so we shouldn't see that again. And if she goes to the loo, I'll put a phone beside me and watch it with the volume turned down. What's the updated ETA? You've given all that. Yeah, good day here in Les Sables. Now, finally, if you want to come down and see GGR stuff in Les Sables alone, we're in the expo. Got a big stand there. Marco's down there, and a few of us will call in at different times during the day. So that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep up the no sleep, looking at the tracker every 2 hours. So a bit of fun. Oh, I forgot to mention Guy. Jane just said I forgot to mention Guy. You're right. There's so much going on. Okay, I'll update you fully on Guy tomorrow. Okay, sorry, Guy. But from what I see, he's having a good time, and he'll be in Les Sables alone soon. See you later.